Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Shankar IAS Academy. It's a great opportunity and a very proud moment for us today, for all of us today. So, Shankar IAS Academy feels very proud in felicitating Mr. Vinay Sunil Patil, All India rank 122 with agricultural optional. Thank you so much for Mr. Vinay for being so kind and giving us this opportunity to hear more insights from him. And I have to thank our mentor, Mr. Kanagaraj sir, for arranging this interactive session for all of you, each one of you. I'm expecting the same kind of success in all your life. All the very best for all your endeavors. I will over to Mr. Kanagraj sir to communicate with you. From there, we'll have great insights from Mr. Vinay. Thank you all.
Hi everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Kanagaraj, Faculty for Agriculture. Today is a very special day. We have our students, Mr. Vinay Sunil Patil, who secured All India rank 122 in the CSE 2023 with Agri optional. I should have been present there, but unfortunately, my early morning flight to Delhi was cancelled, so I couldn't make it. Tomorrow I'll be there in Delhi. I'm sorry, Vinay. I should have been there to welcome you personally, because you have made us all proud, and you are one of the greatest inspiration for those students in this field, especially from the students from Maharashtra and the students with the Agri optional. I extend my heartfelt congratulations to you, and my sincere thanks to you to accept this session in a short period of time. And students, I hope this session will be very useful for you. So feel free to ask any doubts to Mr. Vinay. He will be very happy to share all his inputs and his strategies. Thank you, Vinay, once again. Now, please go ahead and share your inputs.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Shall we start now? Yes. Shall we start? English or Hindi? English. Okay. So I will give a brief background about myself. Uh, I'm Vinay Patil, coming from Nashik district of Maharashtra. This was my third attempt at UPSC CSE. I had completed BSc Agriculture from Nashik itself from 2016 to 2020. During graduation, I had that idea that I will be preparing for civil services. So my seniors told me that if you focus on your graduation well, your optional part will be taken care of. So during graduation, I had this idea that whichever course I was enrolled in BSc Agriculture, I used to see what kind of syllabus will be coming from that course. So whatever I could, I tried to prepare myself during graduation. but many areas were left unaddressed even during graduation. So in 2020, I graduated and the COVID-19 pandemic had struck. So rather than coming to Delhi for preparation, I decided to opt for online coaching for GS. And for optional part, uh, it was difficult for me to go for coaching. So because I had prepared some topics and I was not prepared with the rest of the topics. So I joined only the GS coaching initially, and then I failed in prelims in 2021 and 2022. So I failed back-to-back prelims, and it was a difficult time during pandemic. The preparation was really challenging, and some obstructions used to come. So, but I kept preparing for optional as much as I can. And in my second prelims, when I failed it, I had a complete 12 months in front of me to prepare everything holistically. I discussed with my seniors, and they told me that you should prepare for optional again. And our plan was to keep preparing for mains till December. I failed second prelims in around June. So our plan was to prepare for mains till December. So I started with paper two initially, and the plan was to give 3 to 4 months again to agriculture and make as much notes as possible. Uh, so I kept preparing GS simultaneously. So the plan was to prepare optional in the morning session, and then read newspaper in the afternoon, and then do GS in the evening. So in this way, in the morning session, I had my optional prepared by around October or something in that period. And then I dedicated some time to essay ethics. So in my morning session, my essay ethics and optional around 1,000 marks were taken care of till December only. And in means rest one GS 1 to 3, I had my notes ready for GS 2. So till then, I did not wrote any paper or answer writing part. Then in January, I started preparing for a prelims. Uh, yeah, this time we gave around 4 to 5 months for prelims because I was failing at it continuously. Means I failed 2 consecutive attempts in prelims. So my seniors initially, when I started preparing for prelims, they told me the mantra that Sam Dam Danda Bet, whatever you do, you just clear the prelims because prelims is a tricky game. Even those who are getting rank may fail in next prelims. So we dedicated more time to it. I think around 2 months before the prelims exam, 3 months actually, we lost our grandfather. So I lost 1 to 2 months in that time because he was ill for 2 to 3 weeks, and then when he died, we lost valuable time. And he was not just a grandfather to me, but was like a father figure. So when I started preparing again for prelims. Only I think around 2 months were there to start again. So in that 2 months, I did whatever I can for the prelims part. And this year's prelims, the prelims that I cleared, it was all about clearing CSET. Whoever cleared CSET, generally they mostly they cleared prelims because the CSAT was the deciding factor. The cutoff was around 75 marks only in GS. So when I cleared prelims, uh, means most of the optional notes were ready. Especially in paper one, my notes were ready, and in paper two, half notes were ready. In the later part of the paper two, I did not add much notes. And talking about answer writing, I wrote my first full-length paper of entire preparation after I cleared prelims. So right now, I will not advise you to do the same because means my understanding is that you should write something in around November or December, and nothing can substitute writing full-length paper, even in essay, even in GS, and even in optional. Uh, Means you may write one or two answer or single essay from PYQ, but writing full-length paper is something different that cannot be managed from any different thing. So I would advise you to complete means first thing is to understand the concept and make notes. The second is a revision of those notes. And then third is to reproduce that content. And are you able to reproduce it in the given time? And if you are confident about it, then you should write answers in November and December, full length test. So I started writing after I cleared prelims. And first of all, I discussed about which test series to join in because I had not been part of any coaching for optional. So people suggested me to contact Kanagarajan sir, and I enrolled in his test series. I wrote a few tests there. Also, I after writing the test, I used to discuss it with sir, and whatever suggestions he used to give me, that what was the missing part, which diagram is to be included, where the explanation is needed, where examples are needed. And in the very beginning, he told me that I don't give more marks in test. So if you are scoring X marks, consider that in the actual mains, you will get around 15 to 20 marks more than that. And this thing actually happened. I used to get 115 to 120 marks in optional test that I write here, and in actual exam I got around 130 to 35 marks. So means I just want to say the accuracy that he initially told me, that was reflected in the actual paper also. uh, I will address some of the common doubts in agriculture optional. First of all, if we have to differentiate between paper 1 and paper 2, paper 2 is very technical in nature. uh, most of us will feel the pain, will feel the many issues in paper 2 because technical concepts are there, and we have to understand each concept and then write about its application. We have to add examples. Also the later part of paper 2, horticulture, entomology, pathology, food security part, all these parts took a lot of efforts for preparation. But the rewarding part is only paper 2. It is very difficult to score in paper 1 because paper 1 is easy to prepare but difficult to score, and in paper 2 it is difficult to prepare comparatively, but scoring is relatively better. Then means our one of the advantage with agriculture optional is that it is very scientific, technical and conceptual in nature. So if you are thorough with the concepts and you are able to reproduce that content, then answer writing is not a very big deciding factor in agriculture optional, especially if you have just started preparing. Because my seniors told me this thing, that what's the main formula in agriculture optional. It is simply that whether what you have made notes of, is it available on your fingertip? That if you are asked this question, and how much time you are taking to reproduce what is there in your notes, and your answers will be reflection of your notes. So if you have revised them well and you are able to reproduce that content, means you have 3 to 4 examples of something in your notes, and you are able to hardly reproduce one example, then it's not going to work. But if there are 5 examples and you are able to reproduce even 3, then it is fine. So the answer writing part or paper completion part will be taken care of later. But main thing is whether you are able to reproduce the content. And if you take too much time in reproducing that content, then you will feel problem in completion of paper. So how much time you are taking for thinking and structuring that answer and all, it will decide whether you are able to complete the paper or what kind of quality you are going to write. So thinking and content production is very important part. And another problem is to remember the factual things. Because in paper 1 as well as paper 2, there are a number of factual things. But my experience here is that you have to be smart with them. You have to club, for example, there is a question on crops cultivation. Then there you have to first develop a visual memory of how that crop looks at various stages of its growth. And then you have to see what in general points you can write. There are some general points, especially in soil, climate, of that cultivation part, and there are some specific points. For example, if varieties are asked, you cannot write any variety if you don't know it, the specifically the name of the variety. But if you are asked about the propagation or about the sowing depth or about the seed rate, then you can think about it and write some generalized point there, which will not be very incorrect, but it is close to be correct. So you have to differentiate in these two things. Also, there are some parts which you have to memorize. For example, scientific name. For example, some government scheme part is there. Some examples of a thing are asked. Uh, for example, in paper one, weed science is there. So the name of the weed, the type of weed it is, the scientific name of that. So there you have to do that exercise. But you have to differentiate the generalized aspect and the specific uh, aspect, and then address the two accordingly. Then another important thing is to make notes. Generally, if candidates are having the time, I advise them to go for their own notes, because whatever notes you make, you means I just understood one thing recently, that whoever makes own notes, their revision part is taken care of, and it is easy to revise our own notes than it is to revise others' notes, or to revise the ready-made content from material that we are reading. So if you give your efforts at note making, your efforts at revision will be saved. And if you find shortcuts to those efforts, then your efforts at revision will be manifold. Then talking about further talking about note making, if you just write the name of the topic and then write PYQs under that heading, name of the topic, and address, you have to make notes that will address the all the demand of those PYQs. And also I would advise to look at forest PYQs also, uh, because some questions are getting difficult, and if they have to make the paper difficult, they will see the forest PYQs. So don't lose sight of that also. Then if you are not finding sources for some topics, uh, there are some sources that first of all you have to Google it. Then in Google you will find many sources. Then AI related things are out. Then you can look for some digital library thing is coming up. So you can look at some standard reference books from there. You can also refer to previous year topper notes for that topic for making your own notes. So I don't think that sources is now a very big problem in agriculture. Also, degree notes. Those who those who have done BSc agriculture, they are familiar with them. But those who are not, you can refer to some degree notes from some reputed universities. The degree notes are, means, for example, in BSc agriculture there is a complete course on weed science. So for 6 months we are studying that, and here from those notes we can take out whatever our requirement of optional is. So it's a very short part of that complete course, but we have to extract whatever requirement we have for that topic. And there are two types of topics. First, some topics are very detailed and in depth. So, for example, as I said, cultivation practices, pest disease, uh, cultivation in horticulture as well as agronomic crops. So it will take time, and there you can refer to some ready-made notes. For example, pest disease and cultivation part. But there are some topics which are very straightforward, like in agronomy and in soil science, there are some conceptual topics. So there you should go for notes, because if you just read the standard reference book, the problem with them is that they are not written from UPSC point of view. They are written from MCQ exams of, for example, ICAR entrance exams. So they are comparatively more in depth. So if you don't make notes, reading them is fine, but if you don't make notes from them, then the revision, when it comes to revision, you will have to revise the entire book again. So my suggestion would be, even if you read the standard book, do make notes out of it, so that you don't have to visit that book again. our requirement of optional is very different compared to the purpose for which the book is written. Then when you revise your notes for the second time or the third time, there you should look for some value addition part, and see whether you are able to bring any diagram or flowchart in that thing. So use of diagram flowchart is all about how much space uh, how much space is available with you. If you are having more space, then you should explain that thing. But if you have less space, for example, many subparts are there for that question, then you should go for a diagram or flowchart. In value addition, we have diagram, facts, figures. Some quotes can be added in paper one. Case study can be written, and government schemes are there. Government scheme, for example, some master schemes can be taken. Like there's a scheme called Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, and it covers many aspects of uh, agriculture syllabus. So in conclusion part, you can write in paper one that this thing is taken, and then it will lead to this. So some themes are also running. For example, uh, latest thing that is introduced is Atmanirbhar Krishi. So wherever we have to write from policy perspective, you must mention that we are shifting towards Atmanirbhar Krishi and how that thing is going to help. So in soil questions, you can write about soil health card. Earlier, there was a thing regularly in news about the doubling farmers' income. But right now, it is not that much discussed because the timeline has crossed its limit. Also see whether in Niti Aayog's report or any statement that the Honorable Prime Minister has made, whether is there any mention about that thing. So this is the way to make paper one a bit dynamic, because it is very difficult to write, bring the variation compared to others in paper one. Also, there are magazines in which current affairs are going on. From that, you can give a bit dynamic aspect to paper one. In paper one, in environment and ecology, you can refer to GS content and whatever happening there to bring that dynamic point in those answers. Then in soil and agronomy, there are continuously running some government schemes are running. For example, in fertilizer application, nano fertilizers are coming up. In fertilizer application, uh, drone technology is coming up, robotics is coming up. So in that way, you can give some reference to that. For example, am I audible now? So right now I am having a 2023 mains paper with me. Uh, in this paper, I choose questions. In paper one, the question of FPO was asked. And in FPO question, I knew that I am going to write a case study, which was in our region. So I choose that question because I could have some dynamic aspect on that question. Then in also the another question of that was about self-help group, women self-help group. So in that year, in the 15th August speech, Honorable Prime Minister had discussed about drone Didi concept, where drones will be given to women self-help group in rural areas, and they will those drones will be used to spray nano urea in their respective regions. So I knew that this is going to be a master theme in writing, because I can write it in women self-help group, I can write it in drone technology, and I can write it in nano urea question. So this was a wide application theme. So whatever happening around that time, you have to uh, take care of these things, that somewhere and somehow we have to bring that dynamic aspect in paper one. Also in weed management question, there is a weed institute, and that weed institute means not able to recall the institute's name, but that institute on its website gives routine update about what's happening in weed management and what's a new thing coming up. For example, if any biotechnological invention is going on, or nanotechnological, or what kind of new technologies coming up in chemical weed management or herbicide. So if you write those kind of examples, even in biological weed management, they are doing some experiments. So by mentioning that institute's name, that they have given this thing or they are working on this thing, you can bring that 1 mark or 2 mark extra point in your answers. And somehow from through these things, we have to make paper 1 dynamic and fetch those 10 to 15 extra marks in paper 1. Also, for Maharashtra candidates or those coming from Marathi background, they have a newspaper called Agro One. Agro One's translated version in English is also available. It is a daily newspaper whose subscription is also not that costly, and it covers agriculture related current affairs on a daily basis. So I found it very useful. Also, the DD Doordarshan channel has some themes going on related to agriculture current affairs. GS knowledge will help. Kurukshetra magazine is there, which covers some aspects related to rural situations or the rural current affairs. So in through these things, you can bring some dynamic aspects in writing. Also, case study is one of the best thing that I have found if you have to make that point understand. For example, in our region, there is a Sahyadri FPO, and in collective efforts, mostly aspirants used to write about the Amul example, which is very popular. But rather than writing about Amul example, I wrote about the Sahyadri FPO in our region, which was back then #1 in terms of export in Asia. So I wrote various facts related to that and presented it in the form of a case study. Then, as I just said, figures, examples, and bring uniqueness to your answers. Then, two YouTube channels I would say. First is about Amit Bhatnagar sir. I would highly recommend that YouTube channel for concepts. He do not teach for UPSC or agriculture optional point, but he teaches for in general for agriculture candidates. But the concepts, especially in soil science and agriculture, you will enjoy his videos on YouTube. And for paper 2, R.S. Rajput sir's video for initial part are very good if you are lacking in concepts. In current affairs, there is a good scope to make a dynamic, especially in environment, extension, and economics. Then for package of practices, I would advise you that if the crop is regularly coming in PYQs, for example, if you take fruits, then mango, pomegranate, such type of crops. Then if you take cereals, rice, wheat, maize, pigeon pea, and if you take pulses, oil seeds. So if we take 4 to 5 crops from every heading and do those crops well, it is highly likely that from that crop only cultivation part will be asked. And if a rare crop or not so popular crop gets asked, just understand that you think that it is difficult for you to write on this, but most of those who are writing that paper, they will also find it difficult to write, because all of us are overall we are doing almost the same preparation. So if it is difficult for us, it is difficult for all, and the examiner is going to understand that in this question the quality of answers is not coming of that quality. So we just if something like that, if that kind of question is to be addressed, just understand that don't leave that question completely blank, and don't fake things, because if you write something completely fake there, the examiner will not like this dishonesty. So write generalized points there, so your impression will be maintained in rest of the paper that the examiner will be checking. So try to attempt such questions. And in terms of question selection, First of all, if you are going to write mains or you will be writing it next year, give 5 to 10 minutes and do this exercise very well, that the selection of questions, it is a very important thing, and many potential candidates have made major blunders in question selection in previous years. So first of all, see what kind of pattern is there. A question is for 50 marks, but sometimes 15 15 20, these three questions are asked, and sometimes 20 20 10 markers. Means what pattern is asked, how many marks each question is having, check that. They also check how many pages are there for 20 markers, because on that basis you will be managing the space and the content to be presented, and give 5 to 10 good minutes to select the questions. Don't select all questions from same section. This may look that I'm suggesting you simple things, but previously many candidates have made this mistake. So you have to select two questions from one section and one question from another section. So in selection of question, first of all, my understanding is that if you are well prepared on most of the topics of the syllabus and you have good notes and revise them well, you have more choices in question selection. But if you have left some topics and one or two questions are there from that topic in the same question, then you have to completely leave that option, then your choices are reduced. So prepare all the topics in required depth so that you have more number of choices, and those who are having a good number of choices, then you start looking for how many subparts are there in that question. And for 20 markers, if there are 3 to 4 subparts, then you should select that question. And if 220 markers are good for you and 110 marker is looking difficult or not that good, you should select that question rather than compromising with a 20 marker quality. So first give priority to 20 markers, or those who are having those questions which are higher marked, and then see how many subparts are there. And if there is a technical question where concept is asked and you are very thorough with that concept and you can write diagram or flowchart or case study in that question, then select that question. But if that question is asking for very generalized knowledge, then I think it will be difficult to score good marks there. You will write good content, you will complete that question, but scoring will be difficult. So see if you can select that kind of question. For example, this is a paper from last year, and in which the cell membrane molecular models were asked, and models given by a Singer, these three things were asked, and enlisting was asked. So around 4 to 5 things were asked, but I don't know these models as they were not from PYQs. So I had to completely leave this question because it was for 20 marks. So the point is simply that if you have prepared well, your choices there increases. Also, in last year's paper, in one question, two means cultivations were asked: guava cultivation and integrated pest management in pomegranate was asked. So as I was not much prepared on that theme, I had to leave that question. So in paper 1, I had to choose the extension and economics questions, and in paper 2, I had to choose the horticulture and food security questions. And I was prepared more on in paper 1 in agronomy and soil science, and in paper 2 breeding and genetics. But I had to choose question from extension economics and horticulture and food security. So this was the challenge I faced, although I got fairly well marks, but this issue can happen with you. So prepare all topics well so that choices are more. And since I have talked about current affairs, if you are just starting with agriculture optional, if you are from agriculture background, then you will be familiar with most of the things. So your target should be to directly go for studying that topic and making notes, and then later you will revise those notes. But if you are from non-agri background, you should be clear with the optional selection that you have chosen. Then you should give ample amount of time to understand the concepts in detail. If you are from non-agri background, you should not compare yourself with those from agri background and then check yourself. Give some time, build on basics, and try to take some ready-made notes for some of the topic, because you will not be having uh, that much time for each and every topic. And you may opt for coaching if you are from non-agri background, because some things will be taken care of. And another issue with agriculture optional candidates is about clearing prelims. I have faced this issue, and many of my friends that I meet, they are facing issue in clearing prelims. And um, the importance of this thing is that we choose agriculture, or we say that we are in agriculture, strong in agriculture, but if we don't clear prelims, we will not get the chance to write that agriculture optional, and then that advantage is of no use for us. So if you are routinely failing prelims, give more time to prelims and see who from our background is clearing prelims. This year, for the third attempt, I refer to Shubham Pawar sir's strategy uh, for agriculture as well as for clearing prelims, because he is from similar agriculture background as ours. And so I thought that we will stand on same footing. And he was clearing prelims, or he has been clearing prelims since last 3 to 4 years with a 15 to 20 marks margin coming from agriculture background. So I refer to his strategy for prelims. And you should also look at his Telegram and YouTube channel for prelims strategy, because coming from similar background, it will help you. That's it from my end for agriculture optional preparation. I think you must be preparing for next year's mains, or I don't expect anybody to be writing this Mains 2024 coming year. But if is there any, I will talk to him first, and then we can discuss your doubts about optional preparation. In before the time gap between prelims and mains, if you are now ready with your notes, then you can give your time to revision and then start writing tests. As I said, you can write test in November, December, or after clearing prelims. So that's it from my side about the time gap between prelims and mains. And one more point, that I have met some aspirants after result who have scored good marks in agriculture in mains, but they did not got good marks in rest of the papers. For example, in essay, ethics, and in rest GS papers. So even if we have the optionals advantage with us, but it will be of no use in getting rank if we don't score well in GS papers. So don't compromise any paper, even prelims, even CSAT, even GS, essay, ethics, to prepare optional. You have to maintain that balance with you. So that's it from my side. You can ask any question if you have.
Hello. Saurabh here. Sir, I have cleared BCS Prelim and going to write. Sir, I have not prepared as this is my first attempt. I have not done that practice of answer writing, and I am anxious about that answer writing. So, what could I do, or what should be my strategy?
First of all, I would just say that I did not wrote any single test before clearing prelims. I wrote my first paper after clearing prelims, and I still scored good marks in mains. The mains mantra that my seniors told me was simply that whether you are able to understand the requirement of the question, what's asked in the question, and after understanding that, whether your mind is able to see whatever you have read in your last 1 or 2 years of preparation, what part of that you have to apply in this answer, and all this you have to think in 20-30 seconds or 1 minute. And if it's a 7 minute for 10 marker question, we can give. So if you give half to 1 minute for this thinking that what is asked, and from my knowledge what I have to write here, if you can do this thing in as much as quickly as possible, then you are going to score good marks in mains. It does not it will not depend upon the number of tests you have given, but if you are able to address the demand of what is asked, you will score good marks. And this is mainly for GS. In optional, you have to recall whatever things you have studied or whatever notes you have made. But addressing the demand is very important. And I wrote 2 sectional tests and 1 full length test for each paper. That was the only effort at answer writing by me. But still the marks are good enough. So even in last 60 days, if you write 2 simulation tests, means 2 tests on 1 day, still you can score good marks. But it's all about whether you are able to produce good content or not. And the main aim of giving test is to see whether we are able to complete the paper or not. So complete 20 questions, and in optional also complete the paper. That will help you.
Hello, sir. My question is, as in initial days of mains preparation, it is getting difficult to manage time precisely, and so many things get piled up. Like, how should we use our time equally for essay, GS, and optional? Please tell us how you use it to make schedule during your mains preparation.
The time management in till December and time management after prelims will be 2 different things. What I'm currently suggesting as parents right now is divide your day into 2 to 3 sessions, and it will also vary based on whether you are going for coaching and how many coachings you are going. Yesterday somebody asked me that he is going for 3 to 4 coachings in a day, and he was asking me, I'm not able to give time to self study and all that. So it was simply that if you are doing 4 coachings, then you are anyways not going to get time. My suggestion is that in the morning session, the first session, you should give it for optional, and means every day, the morning session till December, you should be giving for essay, ethics, and optional. For that, in the morning session, you can start with paper 2. After you complete paper 2, you can take ethics to break the monotony, and then after ethics, you can take paper 1. And in this way, till December, you will be ready with optional and ethics. And on every 15 day or once every month, you can give essay test. Essay is mostly about writing and thinking on that topic. So even means if you are not ready with GS, you can start writing essay after September or October. But with this thing, you will with the morning session only, you will be ready with around 4 papers of mains of around 1000 marks. And in the afternoon session, around your lunch, you can read newspaper and current affairs. And in the evening session, you can go for 1 GS subject. So if you are preparing essay, ethics optional in the morning, current affairs in afternoon, then you can take only 1 GS subject in the evening, because you will be studying GS for 12 months, because you will be having only GS after January. So you will gather a lot of content even in 1 year. So 1 subject per day for GS is fine.
So much difficult to get through it.
See, mains is around 60 days now. So it is one size fits all strategy will not work. It will depend upon what kind of preparation you have already gone through, and then we can discuss it. In my case, before 60 days of mains, I was ready with paper 2 notes, paper GS 2 notes, GS 4 notes, optional paper 1 notes, essays I had written, and I was consolidating GS 3 notes and GS 1 notes. So it depends upon what kind of preparation you are at present, and then we can see for next 60 days.
Thank you, sir.
Crops. What crops? That student is asking about the crops question. In crops, first of all, in paper 1, crops are asked, cereals, pulses, oil seeds, fiber crops are asked. And in paper 2, horticulture crops and pest and disease around them are asked. As I said, in every category, you have to take 4 to 5 top 4 to 5 crops which are regularly repeating in PYQs, and you have to prepare those crops thoroughly. For example, if you are getting question in rice and wheat, and you are not able to or you don't have notes, or you are not able to reproduce content about rice and wheat, then you are lacking in preparation. But if that crop is very popular, you should be able to gather content about it. And in terms of pest and disease, you can write some generalized points if you have not studied it in depth. For example, if you have visual memory of that crop, you can see what kind of pest or what kind of disease it may be getting infected with. And for example, if it's a grape crop and you know how that crop looks, then you can predict that it must be getting infested with stem borer pest. If it is if it has tender leaves, then it must be getting infested with sucking pest. So in this way, you have to see every crop is having some peculiar pest or diseases that it is regularly getting. For example, ergot of bajra is very prominent. Then in cotton, sucking pest complex is prominent. Bollworm pest complex is prominent. So you must be familiar with that major popular crop and the major pest and disease with. And then in the end, you can have those tables in tabular form. Every crop is means basic information about it is given in terms of factual data. So you can give some time daily or regularly to those popular crops. And you can also do this thing through discussion with your peers because it helps to remember some factual data very well. So if you are having that group, it is well and fine. So in this way, you can prepare crops.
Sir, I want to know about case studies. How you collected? Like, were there you used some blogs or something, or from newspaper only?
For case studies, I'm having means a picture of my notes in my photo. Yeah, there is a case study related to cotton. So Central Cotton Research Institute is there under ICAR, and they have developed a technology for application of nanotechnology in cotton textiles, and nanocellulose related thing was there. KVK related thing is asked. If it is asked, then you can means I have this case study that KVK Karaikal they have given demonstrated about use of drones for nano urea on rice crop. So means it is means it depends upon the topic. For example, KVK question, you must be having KVK related case studies, and for that sources, as I said, the newspaper that I discussed, Agro newspaper, then DD Doordarshan, that DD Kisan channel is there. It is regularly having case studies related to this thing, drones and all. Also, for example, there's a PM Kusum Yojana. Then PM Kusum related case studies are appearing in government magazines. So you have to just keep your eyes open and you will get those case studies. Also, means as I said, visit some official websites of those institutes related to that.
and you will get case studies there.
Sir, and about paper first, like, did you have some templates or something to make your answer one different from answer two, or like that something?
Yes, after
Any
prelims,
strategy like two different, like answer for a question, answer one should be different from two, like it should not be same, like.
No, it will not be same, because most of the question, the demand of the question is quite different. For example, I'm having this thing in my notes that there is a sugar cooperative factory in Maharashtra, and they worked they developed a patent for closed pipeline porous drainage system, and from that they address the problem of soil salinity in that region. So this is a master concept, used to be master concept for me, because it's, first of all, it's a cooperative sugar factory. Then I can write that example in cooperative question. Then they got patent, means I can write that thing in IPR. They worked on a closed pipeline porous drainage system, means the soil in that region was means it was affected by salinity problem. So they worked on closed pipeline porous drainage system, and they got patent of this thing. And through collective efforts, means all farmers in that region cooperated, and they within X number of years, they changed the pH of the soil through that technique. So it was a master theme for me, which I will be using in number of questions. So this was, means this kind of things you have to collect at one place after your prelims.
This case study was interlinking for few of topics.
Yes, means I have written the interlinkages also in my notes. So I also used to understand where I am going to use that.
Sir, I was like, for if I collect 30 case studies of interlinking topics, so will it be sufficient if I
yes,
use
30 will be very good, because there will be some case studies which will be interlinked. So the thing I just discussed about this IPR and sugar cooperative, this means I was going to use this case study in problematic soil question, IPR related question, cooperative question, collectivity question, soil testing question, drainage question, soil compaction issue, and changing cropping pattern question. So I just know this one case study, and I was going to use it for these much topics. I also knew only about one FPO, and that one FPO question came, and I used it. So it's not about the number, but it's about how one thing you utilize in different questions.
Sir, you wrote case study at starting after introduction, or
no? I think you have to explain the theory part first about what is being asked, and you should write that case study in the middle, and then write the conclusion part.
Sir, case study, if you wrote in, like, what was your mindset, like in how many lines you should complete it?
It will depend upon the kind of question that is asked, then how many subparts are there, and how much space will I require to address those subparts, and then how much space is left for that case study. If it's a small case study, it will be explained in 3 to 4 lines. But for example, that FPO case study I just said, I devoted around 40% of that page to that case study, because I was having so many facts related to that. So the depth you are having about that case study and its relevance to the demand of the question, it will decide the space.
And sir, crop cultivation wala questions. Sir, at when we start the question in our graduation times, it was like crop, its botanical name, its origin, and it's like how you started, like
crop cultivation.
Crop. Example, cotton. We used to write cotton, its species, its name.
First of all, what aspects of cultivation are to be written? It is mentioned in that question mostly. Means on which line they expect us to write that about that cultivation. It is given, and you can for to begin the answer, you can write 2 to 3 general facts. For example, botanical name, or you may be knowing some chromosome number or origin or family of that crop. You can write it as introduction, and then start writing what point is asked. Don't write what is not asked, just to generalize it. Address only what is asked.
Sir, and what about conclusions?
Yes, conclusion is something which you can bring some dynamism. For example, I'm here referring to my short notes that I had made. Here I can see that, for example, if a question on cooperative is asked, means in our exam FPO or women self-help group question was asked, then there I had this theme that Ministry of Cooperation is formed in the right aspect, or Sehkar se Samruddhi, or DPSP. There is a DPSP in which agriculture is mentioned, that we have to do agriculture in scientific way. So that DPSP we have to fulfill. Then, as I said, Atmanirbhar Krishi, these kind of themes. Earlier, there was doubling farmers' income. Then, farm bills, or you can even conclude it with issue in the agriculture that is happening. For example, if a question is asked, and if we do these things, or if we implement this suggestion, this issue will get addressed in future. So conclusion should be a bit futuristic in nature wherever possible, but it is not possible in many questions. But in those dynamic questions where it is possible, you should look for those themes. And means sustainability is one of the conclusion that you should mention. What kind of agriculture the government has targeted in 2047. It is also one of the thing that you can mention in conclusion, that if you have to see this kind of agriculture in 2047, we have to do this. Export import related conclusion can come. So this is it about conclusion.
Sir, and did you quote any books or something?
Books in optional? No, I did not. If you can come up with it, sir, but if you have it.
Can you think of areas where we...
Yes, I quoted book only in essay about the Sapiens book by Yuval Noah Harari. Yes, I also had some things related to agriculture from that book, but I could not use it in mains. But you have to see, I am not familiar with any such book.
So this is enough, like case studies and this content you told, that's enough.
Yes, means even means it is difficult to reproduce, or it is difficult to get together all this that I have discussed. Means already it is difficult. So it will be enough.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes. Thank you.
So, can you please tell us about like which toppers not to use, like because there are not very much like proper sources available. Like there are other options like anthropology or sociology, some lot of proper.
I refer to Deepak Dhamne sir's notes, which were available to me on Telegram, and also some notes from Snehal Daigude ma'am. These two toppers notes I referred if required. No, means I did not came across any other toppers notes. I referred to some other coaching materials if it was required, but then the last option was Google. I used to Google it, but these two toppers notes were I think more of one means enough. Deepak Dhamne sir and Snehal Daigude ma'am, both are from Maharashtra. Yes. In a problematic soil question, means my conclusion that I had planned was Agriculture Ministry is implementing reclamation of problem soils as a sub-scheme of Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana since 2016-17. So this scheme, Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, has sub-schemes related to most of the topics in our syllabus. So this is a master topic that you can mention at least once in each of your paper. Also, there is under ICR, there is Central Soil Salinity Research Institute, Karnal. So if the question gets asked about problematic soils, you can refer to their reference. Also, Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana has sub-scheme under Rainfed Area Development Program. So in Rainfed region question, rain-fed area soils, you can give that program, that what government is doing. Also, there is a institute which has worked on Parthenium compost. So making compost from Parthenium grass using NADEP or peat method. So even if it is a weed, we can convert it into compost. So these kind of value addition things I had worked on. Also, the contribution of agriculture to Indian GDP, workforce engaged in agriculture, and issues in agriculture production. So these kind of will help you. For crop diversification, there is a program by ICAR itself. Also, climate resilient agriculture, climate smart agriculture, varieties developed under it. For example, if it's a question on climate smart agriculture, you have to divide it into water smart, weather smart, nutrient smart, carbon and energy smart, and knowledge smart. So you have to generate what is aspects or dimensions related to smart. So in that way, you can gather dimensions about climate smart agriculture. Also in organic farming question, you can give reference of Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. Also, there is a scheme for value chain development in Northeast region. National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. This is a very master theme. Under ICR, there are projects running for organic farming. Bharatiya Prakritik Krishi Paddhati. Means from these names you are understanding natural farming is there. National Action Plan on Climate Change. These kind of themes come under climate change. Then millets. Millets was a master theme for our mains. If we understand, means I had 2-page notes on millets, and they were very helpful across GS as well as optional topics. Kisan drone was a master theme back then. CICR, Central Institute of Cotton Research, which is working on high density planting in with local varieties in cotton. So in cotton, most of the times the bollworm issue is always in news. So rather than going for BT varieties, the debate is about using local varieties with high density planting. So you can have a look at these things. Also, before our mains, ICAR released a report called Composite Index of Agriculture Sustainability. So wherever agriculture and its sustainability is to be written, my strategy was to write this report of ICR. And in this report, the only thing I knew was that ICR had said that Indian agriculture is moderately sustainable. Means it is not very sustainable, or it is not very less, or it is very in danger, but it is moderately sustainable. For example, in Punjab, Haryana, the sustainability is less, crop diversification is less. So these kind of things can be written as master themes. So this is it from my side.
Hi, Kirti Chaudhary this side. So what was your way to reproduce your notes?
Notes.
Yeah. And one another question is that it is possible to complete and go for the whole syllabus of the agriculture.
My notes making strategy, as I said, that I used to write the topic, then write forest and CSE PYQs, and the content below that used to address all those PYQs first. And still after addressing PYQ, if I feel that this thing is important and it may get asked, I used to write that thing and leave some space for any dynamic thing related to that often comes. And my advice will be, it is not possible to make notes in 100% of the syllabus. There will be many points in syllabus where it is not easy to make notes, or it is not in the cost benefit ratio. It's not good if we go on to make our own notes. So there you have to take ready-made notes from whatever source you can get. But those topics where it is possible, or where you can summarize that topic in 2 to 3 pages, you should go for that, because it will reduce your efforts. So 60 to 70% topics can be covered through notes. and for rest you should go for ready-made notes.
हेलो सर, मुझे ये पूछना था कि ग्रेजुएशन की आपकी कितनी मदद थी एग्रीकल्चर ऑप्शनल में, और जो नॉन एग्री है उनके लिए क्या करना चाहिए, उनको कौन कौन से टॉपिक है जो ध्यान देना चाहिए ताकि वो दूसरों से पीछे ना हो।
ग्रेजुएशन की हेल्प थी, पर मैं नहीं कहूँगा कि कंप्लीट हेल्प थी, क्योंकि ग्रेजुएशन मैंने प्राइवेट कॉलेज से किया था। बहुत सारे कोर्सेस ऐसे थे जो उतने अच्छे से और उतने डेप्थ में नहीं हुए थे, और पेपर 2 में मैंने बहुत स्ट्रगल किया था शुरुआत में। एंड में मतलब थर्ड अटेम्प्ट में मुझे समझ आया कि मुझे मेयोसिस का ही पता नहीं है। तो जो मेयोसिस की कंसेप्ट है वो मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग उसकी रॉन्ग थी कम्प्लीटली, और मेयोसिस की समझ नहीं थी, और मैं 11th से मेयोसिस पढ़ रहा था, और थर्ड अटेम्प्ट तक मुझे पता नहीं था अच्छे से क्लियरली कि मेयोसिस क्या होता है। तो मेयोसिस से फिर मेरे गैमेट फॉर्मेशन भी क्लियर नहीं था, और वहां से फिर पूरा जेनेटिक्स और पूरा प्लांट ब्रीडिंग मेरा क्लियर नहीं था। ये सब मुझे थर्ड अटेम्प्ट में समझ आया कि ये मेयोसिस है, और वहां से फिर पूरा जेनेटिक्स और पूरा प्लांट ब्रीडिंग। तो एक कंसेप्ट से भी आपका पूरा सब्जेक्ट डिफिकल्ट हो सकता है। तो अगर आप नॉन एग्री बैकग्राउंड से हो, स्पेशली इन पेपर 2, तो आपको बहुत टाइम देना चाहिए टिल मतलब जेनेटिक्स, प्लांट ब्रीडिंग, फिर सीड टेक्नोलॉजी और प्लांट फिजियोलॉजी, ये 4 सब्जेक्ट, और पेपर 1 में एग्रोनॉमी और सॉइल साइंस। ये इन 6 सब्जेक्ट्स के लिए मैक्सिमम टाइम अगर आप नॉन एग्री बैकग्राउंड से हो। और जो एग्री बैकग्राउंड से है उनसे भी मैं यही कहूँगा कि अगर आपके ग्रेजुएशन के दौरान अगर वो सब्जेक्ट अच्छे से नहीं हुआ है वो कोर्स, तो आपको फिर से शुरुआत से रिविजिट करना चाहिए। और ऐसा नहीं है कि फिर हमने एग्रीकल्चर किया है तो वो एडवांटेज हम लेकर चल रहे हैं। सिर्फ एग्रीकल्चर करने से आसान नहीं होगा, वो टाइम देना होगा आपको। पेपर 2 से 1 ना करूँगा
Yeah. Dear students, so I will be coming tomorrow to Delhi. So if you have any further doubts, you can contact me. And thank you, Vinay. I hope this session is useful for you. Once again, thank you, Vinay, for this wonderful session.
So I hope all of you had a very good insights from our sir. I think it has given a lot of clarity in how you have to prepare, how you have to sustain, how you have to be consistent in this entire process of learning this particular course. So I would like to hear it from one of you. How was your experience? What did you feel? Your feedback towards or any doubts you have to ask to sir. If you have any such, people can raise your hand. I will pass on the mic and you can talk. Or how about you felt about this entire interactive session as Shankar Academy has been conducting for you? We will do a lot of such things in upcoming days. As far as this is concerned, I would like to hear more from you than we ask you anything. Is there somebody that you can share how it was today's session? Can I share the mic to one of you? Yes, please.
My name is Saurabh. I'm from Pune, Maharashtra. Sir, it was really nice to hear you, and thank you very much for your input.
Can I speak in Hindi? I'm comfortable. सर आपसे मतलब ऐसे किसी टॉपर से आज तक मैं एग्रीकल्चर टॉपर से नहीं मिला था जो इतना ओपन है और सर इज आल्सो entertaining us in the telegram channel which he has he is giving insights on that also तो बहुत हेल्पफुल है सर और आगे भी आपसे हेल्प मिलता रहे यही रहेगा सर बहुत अच्छा इंटरेक्शन हुआ बहुत अच्छे से सर ने डिटेल्स में बताया और पहले भी सर से इंटरेक्शन हुआ है तो बहुत अच्छा I'm feeling very nice and now I'm getting confidence about the subject agriculture optional. I'm just, sir, before the prelims, I just planned to shift my option from the agriculture to sociology. But now I'm gaining confidence because, sir, in agriculture optional now, what is the, मतलब main problem ये हो रही थी sir, exam से पहले, prelims से पहले, I have 2-3 months but notes नहीं था sir, कुछ भी मेरे पास बहुत अच्छे से. I'm graduated from the agriculture only, but still I'm the problem मतलब कि face हो रहा था notes वगैरह पे. लेकिन now I'm gaining confidence like as you should. Yes. Thank you so much, sir.
Hello, sir. Rishikesh Rasar here from Maharashtra, Pune. Sir, congratulations on your great win. Sir, the best thing about you is you're Captain Cool like MS Dhoni and you're so down to earth. I have been watching many toppers sessions and lectures, but some things like you cleared it. Sir, can you please share some of your soft copies? Like it will help us. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. And sir, can I disturb you personally, like for study purpose? Okay, thank you so much, sir.
From here. It was really nice having you like as a topper in front of me. I have attended like many of topper sessions, but then the level of humbleness and the way you explained each and everything, That was really appreciated. I just wanted, even before attending your session, I had my option selected as anthropology. I have also already done my graduation in horticulture. Then I was in a dilemma like whether I should go for agriculture or not. Then because there were lots of myths around, like agriculture may not be scoring, you won't get a rank, you won't be able to qualify the UPSC Prelims and in a UPSC Mains. But then lots of myths like fading away, and now you coming forth as a topper in agriculture, Australia inspired. Thank you. Yeah, that I eventually got to like experience. Mhm. Even when I changed from anthropology to agriculture, I was in a dilemma whether I should do it or not. Then I talked to like 2, 3 students who were actually like preparing in agriculture. Then they gave me that confidence in this agriculture also.
Thank you, Shankaraj, for calling sir here. It was a great listening to you. Ma'am, I was in this journey since a year and I was totally new into it. Till prelims, I was with the sir only for agriculture optional. I have done it from here only. Yeah, though I haven't cleared my prelims in my first attempt, now was preparing for main. But having no one's guidance and meeting sir and the way he humbly speaks everything, and that is true. Like there are many platforms like YouTube, Telegram, many apps, many classes, but no one speaks from their heart or truly what is to be done. Everyone just specifies the general things. You should do this. You should do that. So thank you, sir. It was very nice to hear you so loyally, and the journey which was looking very hard after losing in the first prelims, but now though not started, but there is a confidence that we can truly win the way sir wins. So thank you, sir. Thank you.
No question. Thank you. I have to thank our faculty, Mr. Kanagaraj sir, for arranging such a great interactive session with Mr. Vinay sir. This is a great opportunity, and it's a very proud moment for our optional agricultural team in order to achieve the goal of doing something out of this optional course. I, uh, I actually, from the bottom of the heart, bless, and I have to say, each one of you should get into this desired post, and I want to see most of you from here to have an interactive session like this in the upcoming years. Wish you all the very best and have a very successful career. Take good care of your health. Keep cheerful. Be happy. Just one life. Live and let live. Thank you so much. You can all go for a good tea break. And if you have anything else that you talk to say, you can do it also. Thank you. Thank you all.